Excellent. Hi, Drew. How are you?
Hey, Amy, thanks for having me.
Of course,
I'm
my
doing okay.
pleasure. Great to see you. I'm jealous of your lighting. It's way better than mine.
No, 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 no. If you saw behind the scenes, actually, you would not be impressed.
Isn't that how it is? I'm only viewable from here to here, and
Yeah.
anything else is not good. Oh my goodness. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to see lots of friends joining. Drew and I have been excited about this Instagram Live ever since he seriously reached out and said that he was ready for a show and he wanted to showcase this artwork that is all from 2025, which is so exciting. Drew's work is right behind me here, and you can barely see one right up top there. We have 7 pieces on view this month in our current exhibition entitled Distinct Fragments with 2 other artists, Mark O'Neill and Dennis Cartasculo. We had a lovely opening on Saturday. Thanks so much to everybody who came by. Just for anybody who doesn't know, I'm Amy Regan from Seesaw Art. We're in Manchester, New Hampshire. We are an independent gallery that is doing invitational exhibitions mostly in a tiny little gallery space here in downtown Manchester. So I wanted to give Drew a little introduction. So, welcome, Drew. Drew DiPasquale was born in Bloomsburg, Philadelphia. Pennsylvania, Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. And he is a lover and observer of both the natural and man-made worlds. He takes inspiration from his environment and tries to understand and interpret the conversations happening between things and systems. Drew is a mostly self-taught artist living and working in Portsmouth, and he has worked hard to find the right teachers, mentors, and community to fuel his growth. I love the intentionality there, Drew. That's beautiful. His artistic journey includes study at the Elliott School in Boston, Portsmouth Music and Arts Center, and various other random discoveries of learning. Through his non-traditional journey, he has created an artistic awakening in himself to keep searching and improving on ways to communicate in the increasingly noisy world. So welcome, Drew. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks. I
So
was like, who
when
wrote that?
I know it came out really beautiful. I don't think I had to do any heavy editing myself, so that's awesome. Um, when patrons come and visit, what can they expect to find on view at Seesaw Art this month?
Uh, a lot of energy.
Yes.
It's maybe the most energetic show I've ever seen in my life. But Mark and Dennis's work alongside mine, it's it's just a really interesting interwoven bit of like magic and alchemy. I don't know. It took my breath away. And I just really loved the curation with Mark and Dennis. I think that was just I think it just like holds each other up. The 3 of us in there. So I think it's a really special show. It's a small but mighty space, and I still can't believe how many paintings you got on the wall. It's just, and it looks great. Like it's not chaos. The paintings, at least my paintings, are chaotic, but I know it's a special one.
I appreciate you saying that. And what's fun for me in this exhibition is since I knew we were working together in July, I picked the other 2 artists knowing it was going to be in conversation with your artwork. So it's kind of fun when you're like the keystone or the first kernel of the idea in the exhibition, and then sort of where that spurs and how that mix kind of goes together. So that's a really fun
Yeah,
part of it.
conversation's like a really good way to put it. I think, I mean, all of those paintings are talking, and the way that they're kind of conversating together on the wall space is just like, I don't know, it's something I haven't been able to see myself. Obviously, I don't have Mark and Dennis's stuff around me, but even just like my own stuff, having it up on the wall like that was super cool.
It really is a difference. You know, it's in your studio, it's behind you, you're in
Mhm.
process, or it's finished, and it's like sitting around something like that. And this happens to me at my space here in Manchester, also at the Rochester Museum of Fine Arts. When artists come and drop off their work and see it in a different space, I feel like it helps process, but it also gives like a finality in a way to that thought or that moment in time. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite things to give to the artist is like, okay, fill this room. I just posted a link, and I'll pin it, to the works that we have on view, you can always see everything that I have at Seesaw Art online at seesaw.gallery. So as we're going through and chatting, please take a look at these works. There's lots of lovely photos. And anyone who has any comments or questions or ideas, like, please put them in the chat. We want this to be an open conversation. That's why
Yep.
we're here on Instagram Live. So please join in, definitely. So I feel that this series of work it's in process for sure, but it's sort of all based around like a similar creation or creation model. So can you speak to a little bit about, when you're starting a piece or starting an idea, like what's the philosophy behind this work?
Yeah. I think like they all are rooted in some kind of like feeling or moment or memory that is like meaningful to me in some way. So they are deeply personal, but I do think that there's like the attempt of like getting out of just being like, this personal thing that only means something to me, to like getting that out into and out of my head, out of my heart, and then onto the canvas. I think it's like it's an interesting process because I'll start a painting, and then having two little kids, like I get 30 seconds to 90 minutes, or sometimes 2 hours if I have energy after bedtime and that kind of thing. I've been trying to get up earlier to have some painting time too, but I am kind of like juggling, so it's interesting to come back to these memories that started the painting with the other stuff that I'm carrying in that present moment. So it's about really like a meditation and being present with myself as I'm kind of like going through like a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a friend last week, and the phrase like excavating the subconscious kind of like came to mind because it's trying to mine what's in there. I think I saw some stats a while ago that was like we only use like 5% of our brain. So that's a lot of brain not being like directly accessed, and so I'm pretty
Right.
curious as to what's back there.
Definitely. I like the immediacy in that, and I like holding that memory or that feeling, but then also knowing that like time marches on too. And I think that
Yeah.
that's interesting when you're thinking about like a succinct, maybe it's like a couple weeks or something like that. And what's fun for me is watching patrons and how they react when I either don't say anything and hear what they have to say about the painting, or sort of clue them in a little bit. Drew was thinking about XYZ as he was making this work, and one piece, which I don't know if it's my favorite, I'm not going to pick a favorite, but I really, really love Weekend in New York. And that one just has this energy that we know only comes from New York City, and it's there, and it's this swirl, and there's so many different elements. I'm looking right because it's right next to me. That just has this like ball of energy, and that's what happens. You go to New York and you stay up for 48 hours straight probably, and you see all the best things, and you try to cram it into how much time you have, and that just jumps off the wall to me. There's also a really beautiful mix of some collage and some photo transfer, and then lots of abstract lovely lines, but then also some hyper realism as well going on. Excellent. Yes, definitely. Arbret said they
My
love that.
model's piping up about the weekend in New York because there's some still lifted photographs of them.
Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Yes. And then, thinking about in a totally different strain of thought and feeling and subject matter, I had a really fun time curating three paintings together. They're quite large, they're horizontal, and I have put paintings entitled 2 weeks and then 3 weeks, very close to some is greater than the whole, which is
The whole
more
is greater than the sum of parts.
the whole. Okay.
It's written like an Excel, like an Excel formula.
Oh my goodness, I suck at Excel. Don't tell my
Me
boss.
too. That's probably why it doesn't make sense.
This is like something, but I don't get it. But it's fine. We were talking about titles this weekend, but
Yeah.
so really, was spurred by the birth of your son and like that early time, but then also like creating the world for your children. And so I was telling somebody yesterday who stopped by, a patron, and he was just blown away. He was like, I can't take my eyes off these three. Like, what a thing to paint. What a thing to bring together. I was talking to two people about it yesterday in the gallery. And this is funny. I thought you would think this is funny. For 2 weeks and 3 weeks, there's a lot of like kind of very almost like sort of bodily palette colors going on in there, like, and that is part of having a young kid who you're keeping alive, with Katie. And it's like, it's so visceral.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love those three pieces together. And I kind of was like, oh, I know this is kind of a diptych, but I also would like love putting the one in the center. I'll be posting some install shots of the exhibition on the page at seesaw.gallery, but then also on Instagram, so everybody will get to see from wherever they are this conversation between those three works. And yeah, they're so abstract and they're so beautiful and they're so raw. So I really love
Um,
that you put all of that into each painting, and to stretch that out, over three, I think is really mining, definitely.
yeah, and I think the important part about those particular ones is like um, they were done actually over like that week. So it was like when like the 2 weeks and it's like the 3 weeks and so I diary a lot and I like I have a journal and like with like my camera and I try to kind of like it's basically a scrapbook really and these were in lieu of that. Like these were basically kind of these you know the ups and downs of like trying to survive in the first like couple weeks of bringing a child into the world. And I think like they are chaotic, and but I think that's the rawness that I was trying to kind of go for. And then whole is greater than the sum of parts. I feel like for that one, um, they started that one in particular was like such a conversation and an evolution. It was a very different starting point, and it was almost kind of like confrontational in a way. And then it kind of like found part of my process is trying to destroy certain things on the painting. Like
Yeah.
uh, we talked a lot about safety, I think, before, and if it's feeling too safe, then that's pretty much a cue for me to rip something down or change something pretty drastically, um, because that's not really that's not what I'm not trying to kind of do that. And like
Yeah.
the I'm trying to avoid, especially it can be a trap with abstract art, is like this need to feel like decorative for the sake of like compositional elements. And I think with this work in particular, it was just kind of like gloves off, and what happens happens. And they with whole that one kind of finished like on a very beautiful positive note, where it was kind of like this kind of encapturing of like this idea of family, but there's actually quite a bit in there. So, but it's an interesting how it kind of unfolded.
Yeah, and that's so vulnerable to say, like, I'm trying to make something that is concerned with conveying an idea. And maybe even this idea you're not comfortable with. So the whole thing is almost just an exercise in forcing yourself to be uncomfortable. And
Yeah,
that is so brave, like to say, okay, I always want to be pushing myself. And you can still have, certain parts of it that you just love and you can't like take them down at all. But when you see the culmination in that and you want to get at that rawness and get at that grittiness, I love that. I'm going to try to pull that idea into how I curate things, because I try to have like a way for the viewer to get through the exhibition, but I really try for myself to make sure it's not too matchy and that there's a thread and there's a little bit of an idea. So it's kind of like maybe there's like each of the paintings have certain elements that I think that are interesting, but it's also like a very gut thing where I'm like, this piece can't be next to this piece. I can't articulate why. But to sit when you can tell it's getting comfortable, what can you do in there? And as I go on, like candidly, when I opened, I was so nervous people were going to come in and say that the exhibitions looked horrible. And I was like, not only was it just my taste, but like how they were hung. And with each show, I find myself able to take a little bit more of a leap in a more unknown direction, just as far as getting things on the wall. Definitely with this show, it's packed up. I mean, I think there's 38 paintings on the walls behind me. We're so lucky to have high ceilings that go all the
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
But I felt strongly that I didn't want to cut anything, and I thought that everything was important to have there. So
Yeah.
it's very busy, but it's very fun. They're also month-long exhibitions, so I feel like it's fun to take a chance and say, okay, this is up for 14 days. I think
Yeah.
that's a fun thing. But that idea of forcing yourself to be uncomfortable or pushing your own envelope is very brave to me, and that's tough to do when it's you in your studio every day, you know,
Yeah.
and to come back to that and to come back to that. I love the idea of journaling and getting it down so that you can kind of like brain dump on the idea and then come back to that and pull that out. And I really feel like that takes a lot of discipline as well. Because you know it, like you know what you're thinking, but then as soon as
Yeah.
you aren't thinking it anymore, it just leaves, you know? Like I used to be really good at making one sentence a day. Since I opened the gallery, now I'm like too busy, I can't do it. It's one sentence a day, right? So I just feel like I've lost 3 years of like, mostly they just said like I feel like shit and I did laundry. You know what I mean? Like usually it's nothing, but it's like really interesting. As soon as you read that, you go back to that
Yeah.
day.
You're able to kind of smell the
Yep.
smells, feel the feels. Like, yeah, it's really important to me to be capturing and the the photo part for me. I got this like it's a Fuji camera, but it prints. As you, I've given you a couple, but
Yeah.
for me, that's been so big on my process because I want to. It forces this camera is like I wouldn't say it's not beautiful portraits, but like it focuses you to kind of get in the weeds with things and be a little bit creative in how you kind of like craft a shot. And like for me, photography has kind of been this I'll say like draft, like first draft sketch
Yeah.
of certain things. Uh, it helps me conceptualize, and then it's become now part of my painting of in the photo transfer things that I've been kind of experimenting with because photographs like my sister's actually a professional photographer and like watching her and like grow in her practice and just like how kind of like technical it is for me. I kind of like look at it and say like, well, how can I do this in my way and not be not get so like bogged down in the technicality of like the camera. That's why I like this one because it's not meant to be super technical, but it helps me capture this like feeling, and they become sketches that become part of paintings or just even like capturing ideas to think about later that then become paintings. So it's been like that journaling part has been like massive, I think, in my process.
Definitely. And when you go into the studio, do you know what it is that you're working on? Like, do you sort of arrive with a thought, or do you go and sit and let it come to you, or like, what is that? And also, like, tell us about your studio. Is it at home? Is it outside of your home? Like, what's going on there? It looks beautiful behind
Well,
you.
I'll tackle the easier question first.
Of course.
This is my little detached studio. It's out off the in the back of the house, so it's nice to be able to just kind of like walk out here periodically. Like I said, if I get 30 seconds, I can go mix a color. Um, but yeah, and some friends and I built it about 4 years ago now. That was like a whole process in and of itself, and it's finally like paneled and the ceilings are covered and mostly finished. But this is about as finished as it's probably going to get, or it should be. Um, but you asked me about like how do I get started? Usually there's some uh, like built up energy that I have around something, and I'll try to zero in on it through writing. And if it's not coming out in like a clear enough way, then I'll just start painting.
Mm.
Um, and then, like I said before, like about the like needing, feeling the need to destroy part of the painting, which has also now become part of my process, is like that's like part of that. It's just part of that conversation to like get out this ineffable um, thing in some visual fashion. Like it's hard. It's hard for me to like even just describe a lot of the work because these colors, these gestures, these marks, these things, they all talk in different ways, and the edges around how everything kind of like arrives on each other. Like it's deliberate. It's not like a free for all, but it's this kind of like processing that has to go on, and so you're asking questions of it, and it's going to talk to you in some way, and you have to just be able to listen to it. And I think like that's the biggest thing I'm still like. I think I'll always probably be learning, but like what's it actually saying, or is it saying just like cover it in black and start over, which one of those paintings happened.
Yeah,
But that gives it something else. Like that gives it like a depth and a character, and like becomes a chapter in its story.
definitely. And are you typically working on a number of pieces all at once? And you're kind of bouncing and ping-ponging, or are you kind of like in one and other ideas are coming?
No, I can't do just one thing. It's either like one big one and then several like little paper, like eight 9 by 11s or something like that, that I'm just kind of like playing around with ideas. Like I have these figurative drawings that they take like literally, like I try to cap them at 15 minutes
Wow.
just to see kind
Yeah.
of what happens. So it's like forcing decisions to be made, and then at the end of the day, it's like I don't show them to anyone really. So, but they're like that. They're a processing tool. But lately, um, I just kind of had like a recent like hospital scare with meningitis a couple weeks ago, and I came back from the hospital, and I have to start painting. I have to kind of like get this out, and so I have like four
Wow.
paintings going right now that are all kind of like numbered brain viruses. But those are trying to kind of articulate like that feeling of being kind of hopeless in like certain moments in like a hospital bed. Like so they're pretty intense. But they're also kind of fun to look at them on this side of it
Yes.
and see what they're kind of saying to me now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to think about, especially being so close to it, but when like there are big shifts and it kind of like everything sort of screeches to a halt a little bit is really scary, and it's hard to know how to move forward or where to go with that. So it's going to be really exciting to see these works now that you guys are okay.
Yeah. Job number one, get
Yeah,
okay, and I,
yeah,
I think we're on the other side of it, so that's good.
definitely for sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we talked about your studio, which I love. And so, what's next for you? Do you have ideas that you're working on in the studio? Obviously, like, what's your biggest idea kind of thing right now? Or do you have any other exhibitions coming up? Or, what's going on with you after this?
I was hoping you could tell me. No,
I'll let you
I have,
know.
yeah. Um, Yeah, I have. I was lucky enough to be included in the 3S Art Space 10-year show that's coming up in August. So I have a painting that'll be there, and that's in Portsmouth.
Great.
And then I have. I'm like trying to get more serious about open calls and just like putting myself out there more around like the gallery scene and that kind of thing. So I have some like researched open calls that I'm thinking about and prepping for. But aside, I mean, I think for me the danger is that sometimes I can like over-index on those types of like I'll call them like administrative things or like things to you know things that you have to do if you want to show. But I can sometimes over-index on that, and so I really trying to kind of protect to like this the time I do have to just make. It's the most important thing that for like my like artist journey is to make. That's the only thing that really matters. So I think and it's just trying to kind of keep exploring these ideas. I do have I don't know. I'm always kind of like thinking about how I can like push these ideas a lot more. Like the recent paintings that are on my wall right now, and some of which that are in on your walls. A lot of them have this kind of like the photo transfer stuff, and which is been a really cool process because just figuring out how it worked.
Yeah.
Like there's a vulnerability in that act of putting this idea of a photograph or part of a photograph on the canvas in a certain way, and then you have to like wait till it dries, which can take like 4 to 6 hours, and then you have to like soak it for half an hour before the paper starts like being able to be scrubbed off, and then you have to gently scrub it, or else like parts of it will just disintegrate and like you'll lose it. And then you have to treat it after. So it's like this is part of the process that I'm enjoying. That it's causing me to slow down
Yeah.
um, and pull back and have more of a conversation with certain things. But I'm also curious to see like how I can maybe like start maybe more from photography and then completely remove it and see like what happens. So there's a lot of things I want to keep playing with in that front that I'll probably just continue to experiment with. I think that's the biggest thing is just more experimentation.
Yeah.
So this group of paintings might not look like the next group of paintings in like 2 months, but we'll see. Or maybe it does. I don't know.
I love that. I mean, as an old timey photographer, that's what I went to school for. Instantly, you're like, okay, 4 to 6 hours. Like instantly, you're in this process, and like
Yeah.
your idea is there, the creativity is there, you have the exposure, whatever it is that you're working with, but then also you just have like this technical timeline. My husband will make handmade photos, and like one day is just coating paper. It
Mm.
is not even developing or anything, but it's just like preparing that thing. And I love what you said about that's part of the process. So it slows you down and it gives you sort of more time to think about
Yeah.
what's happening there. And I think what part of what I really love about the photo transfers is making them look really natural within these abstract paintings. Because you
Yeah.
can kind of like stick them in and you're like, fine, but they really add this other whole element and whole other world. And it's so successful in Weekend in New York. And I just love seeing that. And there are so many Easter eggs with the photo transfers and probably more. I haven't spent too much time with painting yet, but as you sort of live with it and experience it, and having it look so natural all together with the mixed medium. One thing that I love about your work is that when I visited your studio, you had a box called like cool mark makers or something like this. Is like
Yeah.
labeled.
Mark makers and good bits. There's the you. I'll pull this up for the.
Oh my
Well, I
goodness.
recently decided to like actually organize my studio. So this is the good bits
Good.
bin,
Yes.
and it's just basically filled with like what others would probably think is trash. And
Yeah.
so it usually ends up on my in my on my paintings. And then the other one is the mark makers, also
Yeah.
spelled correctly if my mom's watching. Um, and
It just
the cool
seems.
thing here is just like this is just like eclectic uh, groupings of random tools. Like I have stuff that my cousin's a pasta maker. Like she teaches pasta classes and things like that in Philly, and so I have like pasta making tools in here in case
Cool. Yeah.
I roll some dough.
Or, I just think that that's so cool that you're sort of always on the lookout for like a great mark maker
Yeah,
or like a really good bit that you just want to like have at your disposal. And I think that that is like such a fun thing that you're always thinking about. How is this going to be pushing the paint around? How is this going to make it differently? And the pasta maker is just so cool to me in the
yeah,
thick paint. Like it just makes something that I would never think of. So that's really inspiring for sure.
yeah. it's kind of like like I love going to Home Depot or really any hardware store, and like I don't know, you just can like walk down the tool section and be like and start questioning like how is that going to destroy canvas or like smear paint or things like that. It's kind of a fun. It makes Home Depot a lot more fun. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because you're gonna go there anyway, so you might as
Yeah,
well
exactly.
having an experience that you're stretching your mind with, which is fun because usually mine
Yeah.
goes the direction at Home Depot. Oh my goodness. If anyone has any questions for Drew, please pop them in the chat. We just had somebody comment that it is excellent pasta, and I will trust that if it's
Well, that
excellent.
was when Liv actually came up here and made it, so I can't really take credit for that.
There you go, right? Oh, it's so funny. What's the best way to keep up with you? Is it following on Instagram? Do you have an email newsletter or snail mail? What's the best way?
Oh, snail mail would be cool.
Imagine every artist has their own zine. They just do. Like,
Yeah, I would love to if people want to send me addresses, I'll send you weird postcards. But yeah, probably Instagram. I was trying to do the blue sky thing for a minute, but I don't know. But blue Instagram is usually the most up-to-date stuff with me, and I have a website now. It's just my name, DiPasquale.com. Yeah, and that's Instagram's probably like where I'm posting like things I'm in and my process and parts of it and things like this. So
yeah, you're a great follow. It's really fun to see. My favorite thing this week was I've had Drew's work for a little bit. I'm being very careful with it. I'm making sure, I'm taking stewarding his work and taking care of it. And I saw a video of him literally garden hosing one like in the lawn, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, yeah, you don't have to be too careful with it, to be honest.
Yeah, but
They
it
all
made
go through they all go through a pretty rigorous process to ensure highest standards of quality and adhesion to the canvas. I think it was this one. It was like getting off the photo transfer.
so funny. Yeah, I was like, "Oh wow!" Like it is just out there, And each artist is different. But it's just it made me laugh so hard that I was like, "Okay, good. Everything's on the wall and everything's safe. I can stop worrying about it." But I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, they're hardy canvases for
They're
sure.
canvases. I love that. Um, my last question that I love to ask is, it's tough to be an artist. I feel like we don't live in a world where the art is really fostered or cared for. You got to make sure everything's taken care of before you can get into your own process. And sort of what keeps you coming back or what keeps your cup filled up, as far as continuing your studio practice.
Yeah.
And
What fills my cup um, is really the ability to like to make. I think it's I don't know. There's like there was this point in my life like 7 years ago or something, or maybe 8 years ago, where I was just like I had this like frustration, like kind of like outburst, and
Hmm.
I paint, and and then I've painted like every day since then, and it's like there's this innate need for me to make stuff, and I try not to like overanalyze that like too much
Yeah.
because like there is a part of me that's can go there and then I start questioning everything, but it's like um I just really enjoy getting thoughts out visually, and it's been like it's been healing for me, but it's also just been like the most wildly creative thing that keeps pushing me like from an intellectual standpoint. Like you're constantly solving or trying to solve problems in different ways, or listening to things talk to you that you wouldn't have thought would talk to you.
Yeah.
Not to sound um, pretty vague there, but I mean there's different conversations that I've been able to have through painting that I would not have otherwise, and I think like that's really the thing that kind of keeps me going. And then also I've been meeting just amazing people. throughout this journey. There's just such a awesome community of people who make stuff that I get to hang with and share ideas and exchange thoughts and well wishes. So
Yeah.
it's been really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, you're having a conversation, but you're not using words.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest thing. And figuring out what that language is, figuring out if it's there and it's what you want it to be saying. I really love that. And it definitely, for me, I love something that I think like I could do this for as long as I want to, obviously, no pressure. But if you wanted to, like, you really could do it forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think that sounds like, oh my goodness, why even start? But for me, like, I love a hard problem. I love something that shouldn't really exist. Like, it's really gratifying to take part in something that is a lifelong journey that will
Yeah.
change, with yourself. So,
Yeah. And you have this like, you know, trail of documentation of like where you were in certain points in like in like a real special way. That's meaningful, at least to me. I was like hearing some of Dennis's story. I don't know if he's doing one of these or not, but like the at 40, was it like 45? He decided he's like I'm gonna try this now and like hard pivot to art and it's inspiring for anybody. I think like you just have to do it. You just have to pick things up and go and don't let the idea of perfect stop you from just being and doing what you need to do.
definitely. And just listening to your gut. I saw like
Yeah.
a funny onion meme that was like, artist does hobby and doesn't try to monetize it. And like, we
Yeah,
have
I saw that one too.
get off
That's
that.
so good.
Please, like, have these things that we love,
Yeah.
and it doesn't all have to be like
I
part of.
think I think the title was "Sociopath Does Hobby and Doesn't Try to Monetize It."
Literally same side. I'm an artist, right? Even though I definitely did say sociopath. I very much identified with that one. Oh my goodness. Great. Excellent. Well, thank you, Drew. I could
Thank
chat with
you.
you forever. This show is so lovely, and I am so glad to be working with you again. The show is on view until July 27th. I happen to have a pretty late July, so not only will I be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I have plenty of time this week, next week for come in and viewing appointments. I have that at seesaw.gallery/visit. So anybody who wants to come down, check out our open hours, come see me on the weekends, or book an appointment to come down and let me just chat your ear off about this exhibition. And just so anybody who has joined, I'm Amy Regan from Seesaw Art. We're in Manchester, New Hampshire. Visit seesaw.gallery to view our past exhibitions and current exhibitions and upcoming exhibitions soon. So I just want to say thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who joined. It is so special to both Drew and myself. And have a great evening, everyone. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.